What's up guys, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and we finally got them in the house, the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro. Nice and early, Super Saf style, one of the first videos in the world, so a thumbs up for your boy would be appreciated. We've got a bunch of new features, including an updated design with flat edges, 5G for the first time on an iPhone, improved cameras, as well as MagSafe technology. We'll be taking a look at all of these in this video. Let's get to it. So the first thing you'll notice straight away is that these boxes are super slim. I mean, I'd say that they are half the size of a traditional iPhone box. Let's check it out. So here we go. We've got an iPhone 11 box for comparison, and you can pretty much fit two whole new iPhones in the same space of the box of the iPhone 11. Now this is of course because we no longer get a charger or earphones included in the box. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's firstly get to the unboxing experience. So for the iPhone 12, we have a white box. You've got the front of the iPhone 12 here. And on the iPhone 12 Pro, we've got a full black box. So we'll unbox the iPhone 12 first. And there we go, guys. This is the blue version. This is the one that I wanted to check out. Absolutely love that color. We're gonna put this to the side and then check out the iPhone 12 Pro. And the iPhone 12 Pro is also in the blue. Apple call this the Pacific blue. And I'm really digging this because this has a matte finish, whereas we've got a glossy finish on the iPhone 12. Right, let's lift them outside of the boxes. And inside, all we have is some paperwork, a SIM card tool, as well as an Apple sticker. And of course, there is a USB Type-C to Lightning cable. Now, honestly speaking, I would have preferred if Apple went with USB Type-C to USB Type-C. It's just so much more universal. But I'm assuming they wanted people who already have lots of Lightning cables and accessories to be able to carry on using them. Right, so let's quickly talk about why the charger and earphones are not included. Well, Apple say that this is to save on carbon emissions. By not including these, they've halved the size of the boxes, which means they can get more into all shipments. And in total, they're looking at around 2 million metric tons of carbon emissions saved annually. That's the equivalent of around 450,000 cars off the roads. In addition to that, at the launch event, Apple also said that there are already billions of chargers and earphones out there. And with the use of wireless technologies, wireless charging, wireless earphones, people tend to already have these at home. Now, personally speaking, I'm somebody who has lots of wireless chargers at my house, and I also use wireless AirPods. So for me, this is not a big deal, but of course, I don't speak for everybody. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comments below. Right, we're gonna take a look at the iPhone 12 first. We're gonna remove this paper screen protector so it's not plastic. Whoops. And also the iPhone 12 Pro. And here we are, guys, both the brand new iPhone 12s in hand. Man, I'm super excited. The flat edges, love the flat edges. Definitely gives me the iPhone 4 and 5 vibes, which I was a big fan of. Personally, some of my favorite looking iPhones in the past. And what's interesting is that both of these iPhones are exactly the same size. However, the iPhone 12 Pro does weigh a little bit more compared to the iPhone 12. And that is because we've got a surgical grade stainless steel frame, whereas we've got an aluminium frame on the iPhone 12. And the contrast is really interesting because the back glass of the iPhone 12 is glossy with a matte finish for the frame. And for the iPhone 12, we've got a matte finish for the back glass with a glossy finish for the frame. Now, one thing straight away that I'm super glad about being here in the UK is that we've got none of those labels that are usually here towards the bottom. Apple has now actually moved these to the side on the frame, and they are much less obvious. I'm so glad about this. Now you can see here that I've gone with the blue versions, which are the new colors, and I think look really good. But the iPhone 12 is available in 5 color options. We've got the blue, there's a green, black, white, as well as a product red. And the iPhone 12 Pro, I've got in this Pacific blue, but this is also available in a silver, graphite, as well as a gold. And the gold version looks really, really good, especially because of the stainless steel frame. Now, all of the new iPhones are IP68 water and dust resistant, but they are much more water and dust resistant compared to other devices, which are usually rated for up to 2 meters. These are rated up to 6 meters deep for 30 minutes, which is definitely quite impressive. Now, for the back glass, Apple has said on their website that this is the toughest glass on a smartphone, so it should be pretty durable. But if you do want to be safe and put this in a case like I normally do, then you might want to pick up a case from our video sponsor Spigen. You guys know that I've personally been using Spigen cases for the longest time, way before I ever worked with them, and they make some amazing quality cases. My personal favorite has always been the Liquid Air, which is the perfect balance between size and protection. But they've got many options for everybody. If you want to show off your shiny new iPhone but still protect it, then I'd recommend the Ultra Hybrid, which is a clear case. If you want to pick up a case from Spigen, then I'll leave some links down below. Now let's move over to the front, and here is what Apple call ceramic shield. They don't even call this glass because it's supposed to be tougher than any other smartphone display out there, with 4 times improved drop performance. Now, I'm not going to do drop tests. That's not what I do here on the channel, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of others that are going to do that. And now let's look at the displays. So we've got 6.1-inch displays on both devices, and they are almost identical. Super Retina XDR with a 2,000,000:1 contrast ratio. Now, these are 60 Hz displays. Unfortunately, we do not have 120 Hz this year. However, the displays have been improved, especially on the iPhone 12 compared to the iPhone 11. So gone is LCD, and all of the new iPhone 12s do have OLED technology, which means colors are much more vibrant and things really do pop. We've also got an improved resolution on the iPhone 12 compared to the iPhone 11. So with that higher PPI, details are also a lot sharper. So there is a big improvement going from the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 12 compared to going from the iPhone 11 Pro to the iPhone 12 Pro. Now, the displays between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro are almost the same. You can see that we've got a uniform bezel around with the notch, and both also have a peak brightness of 1200 nits when you're watching HDR content. However, there is a small difference that I have noticed on the Apple website, and that is that the iPhone 12 Pro does have a max brightness for regular conditions up to 800 nits, whereas the iPhone 12 has a max brightness of around 625 nits. So a minor difference, but it's really good to see that the iPhone 12 is now really up there with the displays of the Pro models. Now, a lot of the similarities between these two do continue on the inside. So both of these are powered by the Apple A14 Bionic chip, which is the world's first 5nm chipset, and it is super fast. No doubt these are going to be some of the fastest smartphones out there. In terms of the difference between these two, as far as I know, the iPhone 12 Pro does have more RAM. And although on the day-to-day you might not notice this too much, the iPhone 12 is going to be better overall for multitasking. Now, these are also the first iPhones with 5G. So Apple is now finally joining the 5G race. And this is going to mean super fast speeds. Now, it's really going to depend on your area, whether you're going to be able to fully take advantage of 5G speeds right now. But I think from Apple's point of view, it's more about future-proofing. People usually buy an iPhone and keep it for many, many years, which is why the A14 is going to be great for that. But also by having 5G, it's going to mean that even if you can't take advantage of those speeds tomorrow, you will be able to take advantage of those speeds in, say, a year's time. Both devices, of course, come with iOS 14 out of the box with all of the new features, including widgets. And this is something that I really do like about Apple. Apple provides software updates for the longest time. Now let's take a look around the devices. We have a lightning connector at the bottom with one of the 2 stereo speakers. The other one is in the earpiece. On the right-hand side, we have the power button. On the left-hand side, we have the volume buttons as well as the mute switch. And then there is the SIM card tray at the bottom. Both devices do support dual SIM cards, a physical SIM card as well as an eSIM. Now here within this notch, we do have Face ID. So we don't have Touch ID anywhere, and Face ID, as expected, works really well. And that brings us on to the cameras. So both devices have the same 12 megapixel front-facing camera. This has been improved, so we now have support for Smart HDR3, Deep Fusion, as well as night mode. So you now have night mode from the front-facing cameras. Now, when we move over onto the rear-facing cameras, this is where things get super interesting. So as you can see, we've got 2 rear-facing cameras on the iPhone 12, but we've got 3 rear-facing cameras on the iPhone 12 Pro. All of these cameras are 12 megapixels. I like that Apple keeps things consistent. And the ultra-wide as well as the primary camera are actually exactly the same on both devices. The ultra-wide camera does have a 120-degree angle of view with an f2.4 aperture. And the primary camera does have a wider f1.6 aperture, which means these are going to be able to let in a lot more light. We are looking at around 81% improvement for low light images. Now, in addition to that, night mode is now supported across all the cameras. So this is something that was missing on the iPhone 11 series, something that I did cover in my reviews. Not having night mode for the ultra wide camera was a bit of a downside for me. So it's great that we now have these on the new iPhones. Now, of course, being the Pro model, the iPhone 12 Pro does have some additions. We've firstly got the telephoto camera, which has an f2.0 aperture and 2 times optical zoom. Now, this isn't really much about the zoom in my opinion, it's more about portrait shots. So although you will be able to capture portraits on the iPhone 12, they will be wide angle portraits. And the optimal angle for portraits is what you'll be able to achieve with this telephoto camera. And you guys have heard me say this many times before, but the iPhones have always been some of my favorite devices for portrait shots. So this is something that I'm really excited to test out on the iPhone 12 Pro. In addition to that, the iPhone 12 Pro also has a new LiDAR sensor which detects depth. Now, this is going to give you some great AR capabilities, but in addition to that, it's also going to give you improvements for the cameras. The LiDAR sensor does not rely on light, so this does mean that you're going to have improved autofocus in low light situations, and you'll also be able to take portraits in low light thanks to that LiDAR sensor. Now, of course, guys, as soon as I can, I'm going to be doing a detailed super SAF style camera comparison of the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro versus the competition. If you want to see those videos first, as always, make sure you have subscribed and hit that bell icon. Also, let me know down in the comments below which smartphone you'd like me to compare the iPhone 12 Pro to first. Now, of course, the improvements don't stop there. We've also got improvements for video. You've heard me say many times before that the iPhones record the best quality video on any smartphone, and Apple has now taken this even further. These are the first cameras, not even smartphones, the first cameras to support 4K 10-bit HDR with Dolby Vision, which is absolutely insane. Now, being the Pro model, you do have 4K HDR with Dolby Vision at up to 60 frames a second on the 12 Pro. The iPhone 12 still supports this, but only up to 30 frames a second. Now, there is also going to be Apple Pro RAW coming to the Pro models later on. We're not sure exactly when, and this will allow you to capture raw images on the iPhones with all of that computational photography goodness that you get with regular photos. I'm so excited about this. Like, I can't even explain how much of a difference this is going to make to photography on smartphones. Now, one major change that you can't see on the outside but has been made on the inside is MagSafe technology. So Apple has now lined up some magnets inside the new iPhones, and this is going to really help not only with charging but also with lots of new accessories. So all of the new iPhones do support Qi wireless charging, which is great, up to 7.5 watts. But if you do use a MagSafe compatible charger, that is just going to snap on directly to the new iPhones, and that's going to give you the optimal charge, up to 15 watts fast wireless charging. Now, this is not only going to be for official Apple accessories, this is going to be opened up for many third-party accessory makers as well, and I can't wait to see all of the creative solutions that we get. Now, for the wired charging, we do have support for up to 20 watts wired fast charging. Of course, that charger is not included out of the box, so you will have to buy that separately. Now let's talk about the price and the storage options, and also my advice about which one of these you should go for. So the iPhone 12 does start at 64 gigabytes. There is also a 128 as well as a 256 version available. The iPhone 12 Pro starts at double the storage with 128 as a base, then a 256 as well as a 512 gigabyte version available. The iPhone 12 starts at around £800 or $800. The iPhone 12 Pro starts at £1,000 or $1,000. Now in the UK, the iPhone 12 Pro is actually coming in at a lower price compared to what the iPhone 11 Pro came in at last year, with double the storage. So that might make up for the fact that you don't get the charger and earphones included. But the iPhone 12 does come in around £70 more compared to what the iPhone 11 came in at last year. But you are getting that improved display, almost the same as the Pro model, as well as 5G and all of those other improvements. Firstly, if you are thinking of getting the iPhone 12, my advice straight away would be get at least the 128 gigabyte version. You're going to be taking lots of videos and photos, and you're going to be using this potentially for a long time, and you're really going to appreciate that extra storage, which is only going to cost you either £50 or $50 more compared to the 64 gigabyte version. Now, if we do compare the iPhone 12 with 128 gigabytes to the iPhone 12 Pro, like for like 128 gigabytes, then you will be paying around £150 or $150 more for the iPhone 12 Pro. Is it worth spending that extra money? Well, let me break down what you're getting. So you're getting a more premium build with that stainless steel frame. You're getting a slightly better display, only slightly. You're getting more RAM for multitasking, but most importantly, it is the camera improvements that you're getting on the iPhone 12 Pro. That telephoto camera alone, in my opinion, is worth getting for those portrait shots. You've got the LiDAR sensor, which is not only going to help with photography, but also for AR, and features like Dolby Vision at 60 frames a second versus 30 frames a second, as well as Apple Pro RAW, which is going to be coming later on. Now, if those things that I've mentioned are not important to you, then the iPhone 12 might be the better option for you. But if they are important to you, then £150 more will get you all of those features in the shape of the iPhone 12 Pro. Now, if you want even further features for the cameras, such as the sensor shift OIS, the better telephoto camera, as well as the larger sensor for the primary camera, then you might want to hold back a little bit and wait for the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is going to be coming in November. And if you're thinking you want a smaller, more compact phone with pretty much all of the features of the iPhone 12, then you might also want to wait till November when the iPhone 12 mini is out. Now, of course, as soon as those are out, I'm going to be doing lots of coverage with those devices. If you want to see all of that first, as well as lots more iPhone 12 and 12 Pro content here on the channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. What do you guys think of the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.